So one of the things that we've been working on, we're very excited about, is basically using artificial intelligence to personalize cold email outreach, right? So if any of you are doing any format of outreach, which you absolutely should be, in my opinion, regardless of the size of your business, these are some really helpful strategies you can use to go in and personalize the outreach, right? And why do we want to personalize the outreach? You're going to get much better results when you can have something personal in the email. And what we used to do in the past is either pay a VA manually to go find something and write it down, or we'd even go as far as to shoot a custom Loom video for each site we go to. But that's not scalable. And honestly, it's not a lot of fun. It's challenging. And so what we want to do instead is, what I'm going to show you how to do is leverage artificial intelligence. Like I said, specifically Chat GPT. Don't ask me like which version of Chat GPT it is. I have no idea. I just know how to get these results. So what I want to show you guys, first part, pretty straightforward. Essentially, you're going to compile a list, right? And I don't really care which platform you use. My two that I like and I recommend typically are going to be D7 Lead Finder and then Apollo. Apollo, I used to like it a little more than I currently do. I don't know why it's not been giving me the most amazing results as of recent, but it's okay, right? And what you can do is, why I'm going to use Apollo, because I have some extra credits here with them. And D7 Lead Finder, you can go sign up, basically go get your list, right? So here we got California City, beauty salons as an example. Great, we got a lead list. We got email addresses, we've got websites. And once you have this list, it's actually a pretty small list. Let me go get a bigger list here. Let's see what happens if we do gutter cleaning in Hartford, Connecticut. Cool. So yeah, a lot more gutter cleaning. Wow, way more. And you can see all of them have websites, right? So what I'm looking for and wanting in my lead list is going to be at least a website as one of the main things, right? Now, social media accounts, phone numbers, etc., like those are good. But for what we're talking about today, for the lead list you need, it's really just going to be a name, email, website. So once you have that and you can export it into some sort of CSV, I'm going to go back to the SOP here. What I'm going to do is, you guys can take screenshots of this if you want. I'm not going to give you the actual document. I want to keep some of these things exclusive. But again, like we're here live, you can watch the recording, screenshot it, rewrite it yourself, whatever you want to do. But I want you to understand that next, after you have that CSV, your lead list, you're going to open up Google Sheets, right? Cool. Let me go do this. Google Sheets. And you basically just want to go create a blank one, and you're going to import your CSV file, essentially, right? What we want to do is import that list. Cool. Once you have it imported, you're going to have a list that looks a bit something like, let me go to this one. Cool. This actually worked out well the other day. All right. So here's just a quick example list. And this is going to have people who are CEOs or managers of resorts specifically. And so I'm going to delete this column right here. We don't need that right now. We just have the website, right? So what I want you to do is, you can create additional custom columns. We're really just looking to personalize an opener, right? So I'll show you the simple version of this first. And what I need to actually do before I do that, just so you're getting all the details here, you need to make sure you have this add-on, right? So you go to add-ons, you go to get add-ons, and you type in GPT for Sheets and Docs. And this would be something now you would attach to your Chat GPT account, right? So let's make sure my API key is good. All right, we're set. I might have to refresh this. We will find out. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a custom column here where I'm going to skip over this piece. This is essentially, getting a product or service name. This can be helpful if you're running e-commerce or something a little more nuanced, like maybe med spas, and you're looking for people doing like cool sculpting or a specific type of product or service. But I'm really just going to focus more on this. So what this is a prompt, right? We're going to actually copy and paste this entire prompt into a cell inside of Google Sheets. And what this prompt is essentially doing is it's saying, hey, Chat GPT, go visit a website. So in this example, it's going to be the websites here, right? Go visit that website. And then I want you to write a compliment about their top product or service or the business itself. Be specific and say something that only can be said to this company without being awkward. Refer to this business as you or your. Rule 4, write only one short sentence. Rule 5, start sentence with my team and I like. You'll see why in a second. And then rule 6, write from the understanding this is where you need to plug in actually what your industry is. And then try to find something obscure on their website that can be complemented. This was actually really fun to play with because this changed the results a lot. ChatGPT was really spitting out a lot of very similar kind of, mayonnaise, basic, boring, baseline things. And adding in this last rule actually made a big difference. So what I'm going to do is copy and paste this. I'm going to bring it over here into this document. I'm going to just write personal opener. Cool. I'm going to just highlight these real quick. OCD. Plug this in. I'm going to change it. It's not D34, it's D2, right? Because this is the cell. So it says visit that site, blah, 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 all these other things, right? So I'm going to hit enter. And now it's going to say loading. What ChatGPT should be doing is exactly what I just asked it to, right? It's going to be showing off how my team and I like how Purgatory Resort offers a variety of unique activities such as snowshoeing and snowmobiling that make it a great winter destination. That's awesome, right? That's such an excellent personal opener that you just had AI go create for you. Now, if I just drag this down, this function, it should continue and do that for all of these other resorts as well, right? And now what we're having here is this resort has luxury amenities. This one has luxury camping. This one has treetop adventure course. This one has age friendly was another one I saw earlier. I don't think it came onto this list. So to me, when you can get it to spit these things out, now look how much more powerful your lead list just became by doing this one thing, right? I'm going to take a break just for 1 second to go check in on the Facebook group. Give me one moment. What's up, Jenna? Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Just got off the other call.
Nice. Alex was hogging all the people. How dare him? I'm going through some pretty cool stuff right now, essentially using ChatGPT to personalize emails as you are doing outreach. So what I essentially just did to recap you, because you're the only one here hanging out today. Cool. A lot of people are going to be hopping in. I might just have to restart this. That's okay. Essentially.
Yeah, do it. Just restart.
Well, I didn't go too far, so it shouldn't be that bad. What's going on, Steve? Thanks for joining us, man. So essentially what I'm covering here today, guys, is how to use ChatGPT and Google Sheets to personalize email outreach. Pretty damn cool stuff, right? So essentially what I just went through before you guys hopped on, you need to have a lead list, right? There's a lot of different places you can get a lead list. I don't care if it's D7, if it's Apollo. You just need to buy or scrape together or from one of these sites, purchase a lead list. And at the bare minimum for what I'm asking for here, you need to get an email address and a website, right? That's like the baseline minimum we need. So you export this CSV. Excellent. You import now that CSV into Google Sheets. Pretty simple. Here's an example list that I have. So before you guys hopped on, you can ignore this column for a second. What I essentially was left with in my lead list, just as a simple example, I have a name, I have the title of that person, I have emails. For most of them, I should have filtered out in this example people who don't have emails. Obviously, we need to have an email to send someone, but the website was a key piece here, right? And then what is happening is after I've connected ChatGPT to Google Docs, and you do that through extensions. So you go to add-ons, get add-on, GPT for Sheets. I'll just go through the whole process so you guys can see this. What's up, George? What's up, Adam? GPT for Sheets and Docs. Cool. So this is what it looks like. You're going to add this to your extensions. And once it's in there, you can go into the functions of it inside of your Google Doc. And essentially all you then need to do is connect your GPT account through an API key. And that's right here. So I'm going to go back to my SOP just because I have this all written out already. You can go find this. It's so weird. ChatGPT is not the most user-friendly backend. It took me a little bit to go find all this stuff, but essentially inside of the link that I can drop for all of you, you sign up for a pay as you go account, and you can have usage limits, right? So I'm going to actually probably have a hard limit of like $50. I don't really want to spend more than that right now because I'm just showing examples, but I've probably done this example for, I don't know, 20, 50, maybe 20 to 30 leads 6 or 7 times. So a couple hundred leads is 15 cents, right? It's not going to cost you a lot to do what I'm showing you here. I just lowered my limit just in case I go a little crazy and it wants to recreate stuff. All right, cool. So once you have a paid ChatGPT account, it's very modest, like $5 a month plus your usage, which again is nothing, can be pennies for what I'm explaining here. You get your API key, we plug it in. Cool. So we have a lead list. We have a paid version of ChatGPT connected to Google Sheets. That's where we're at right now. Next part of this is where the magic happens. This is where it gets really fun. You're going to be able to, in this SOP, and again, I shared this before everyone was hopping on. I'm not going to give away this SOP. You guys can come back to the recording if you want, screenshot it, whatever you like. I'm just going to keep this one SOP kind of show it to you, but not give you the direct link. But this part here is where the magic happens, right? We have an example of where you can get it to pull a product or service name, which might be helpful if you're reaching out to e-com businesses or med spas who sell a specific service. But this is really what I'm trying to get to. I want ChatGPT to help me in mass write personalized email openers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this prompt and I'll read it really quickly for you guys, but it's essentially telling Google Sheets, my lead list, and ChatGPT, hey, go visit this website, in this cell D34, visit that website and follow these rules. Write a compliment about their product or service or the business itself. Be specific and say something that can only be said to this company without being awkward. They need to actually rule 2. I went rule 1 to rule 3. Rule 3, refer to the business as you or your. Rule 4, write only one short sentence. Rule 5, start sentence with my team and I like. Rule 6, write with the understanding this is a resort. You need to change this, obviously, for the industry you're pursuing. And this one is key, guys. This one actually on our client call last night created a lot of really good, amazing personalizations, was try to find something obscure on their website that could be complemented. So what happens here is you're going to copy and paste this function into a column here in Google Sheets. So I'm going to delete these ones, right? Let's say you didn't have that yet. Let's say you just have your new column for personal opener. Cool. Now I'm going to copy and paste that function. I'm going to change the cell to match this cell, right? It's this lead, Eugene. This is their website. Cool. I'm going to hit enter. And ChatGPT, this is where it's so cool how it does this. This is amazing. I used to do this stuff manually, guys, or pay a VA to do it manually. Pain in the butt. This is way better. So already what it just did is it went to the website, followed my rules, and now it's saying, hey, my team and I like how Purgatory Results offers a variety of unique activities, such as snowshoeing and snowmobiling. Awesome. That's a really good personal opener. It would have taken 5 minutes, 10 minutes for a VA to go find and put that together. So I'm going to drag this function down now. And what it's going to do is it's going to do that for the rest of them. And again, this is costing me probably just for these 10 leads, like 1 penny, 2 pennies, maybe. So it's very cheap to do that. I love that it's giving me error messages. That's so fun when there wasn't error messages just 5 seconds ago. Let's see what is going on here, why it's breaking. AI servers are overloaded. Yay for AI servers. Okay, so I'm going to actually, I wonder if I can back this up to, damn, you guys saw they were all there before. Let's just hit refresh and see if it works again. So actually every time you do this, it'll spit out almost a new answer each time, which is pretty interesting. So what you can see here now is, hey, Callaway Gardens Treetop Adventure Course. This one has private beachfront cabanas. This one has, I saw one earlier where it was like age or different activities for different ages, right? And what I just did in, what was that? A few seconds was just create a bunch of personal openers now I have inside of my lead list. This is really powerful stuff, guys. And so now with my new lead list, with this information, since we're all here in the extended lead community and use Go High Level, I'm going to show you guys how to do this inside of High Level. And disclaimer, I never claimed to be a Go High Level expert. So if I butcher this in any way, or if there's an easier way, I'm not opposed to being told I'm doing it wrong. So please feel free to share this with me. I did confirm, though, with our in-house resident Go High Level expert, in my SOP how to do this. So I feel pretty damn good about it. But you guys, again, if you're a GHL ninja, by all means, take this and make it your own. What I'm going to do next, though, is we need to create a custom field inside of Go High Level. Give me a second. And what that essentially means is we want High Level to identify, as it's importing our lead list, that these personal openers are their own, what was the phrase I used? Their own custom field, right? To import that data so I can then, in my outreach emails, automatically import all of this. So essentially here, give me a moment. I'm going to go to our testing account. We have a snapshot testing account. You're going to go to your settings, the very bottom. You're going to go to custom fields, and you're going to go to add field, right? Single line. You go ahead and call it whatever you would like. I'm going to go next. Name the field. I call it personal opener, and then you save it, right? We've already done this. So ours here as an example, personal opener is the field name, and then contact personal opener is the unique key. So again, what this does is it'll identify this little line of code with this column of my lead list. And then what that looks like is, once I have that custom field built, cool, custom field built, we're going to go into our automations. You're going to build out a workflow, right? You want to build something to send to this lead list. So here is just a very simple example of, hey, here's a workflow with one email. I'm going to open this email up, and you can see inside of the email, again, I'm going to try and use the correct phrases for GHL because I want to call them tags. They're called custom fields inside of High Level. We're going to have that custom field be placed right here. So it'd be like, hey, let's see. Hey, Randall, my team and I like how your resort offers a variety of unique activities and experiences for guests to enjoy. That one's pretty boilerplate. Again, I like some of the ones that speak more to this. To be like, hey, Edward, my team and I love how Callaway Gardens offers unique activities such as a treetop adventure course for guests to enjoy. So that's a really good one, right? And now what's happening is High Level is automatically importing all of these pieces of information into your campaign, right? And obviously this isn't going to be enough. We need to have something else additional we can add to it. So there's a lot of different versions of it, guys. If you need my support or help writing outreach scripts, we do this all the time. I'm more than happy to help you with it. This is just an example of like, hey, if you're reaching out to law firms, you could ask something like, hey, if we could send you guys more cases every week, would that be helpful or not really? We do this for other law firms who on average sign 1 to 2 additional cases per week. If we don't get results, you don't pay. And again, you may not have this, right? You may not have a results or money back guarantee or any kind. That's fine. You can edit this. The point that I'm getting at is now what you have just done, and I only did it with a list of 10 people here, 9 people. You just created an email outreach campaign that you personalize the opener through AI, and personalized openers are going to double or triple at minimum your response rates and therefore your booking rates from outreach. This is a game changer, guys. I know looking at it, it can feel a little bit like maybe overwhelming at first. Once you do it once or twice, it is really straightforward. And I'm so excited to get into this with not only our program, but our clients as well, because I know this is going to be a game changer for them. So to kind of just put a button up, or to button up here the final pieces of this, obviously in your contact menu of Go High Level, you're going to be able to import now that lead list. So I'm going to go to import contacts. I'm going to drag and drop my file there. And then once you have actually uploaded the list, you can assign them to your campaign as you're importing. Great. Now your campaign is started. So guys, this one extra step probably will take an additional, if it's your first time, maybe an additional 60 minutes. Once you get into a rhythm of doing it, take you 5 to 10 minutes each time. And now you are customizing your outreach as you're doing it for emails. So pretty freaking cool stuff, guys. I really highly recommend if you're doing email outreach to be testing this. It'll make a massive difference in your results. Cool. So thank you guys for being on here and hanging out. We got a lot more people now than obviously when we started. What I want to do is you guys are more than welcome to unmute yourself, ask questions about what I just covered. We can go in more depth there, or we can just turn this into open Q&A and kind of work through whatever you guys need. So if you're feeling compelled, unmute yourself, ask away. If not, I will call on you and we'll see what you're working with. So because I
Which
can hear Nick,
he goes,
I'm going to call
so
on you
ask your
first.
question on what I just went over. And I'm like, well, I just missed it all.
Yeah. So we start the shows at 4:00. Typically, you can catch this replay in the group if you would like.
I'll get
Essentially,
to watch the replay though.
yeah. So in a nutshell, and where did my, that's fun. It all just disappeared. So essentially, man, one moment. I'm sorry. I'm trying to talk and type at the same time. Never works well. We have this AI prospecting machine, right? Essentially, you get a lead list like you normally would. You're going to connect ChatGPT to Google Sheets. And then inside of that, you're going to copy and paste a very simple function. That function is written right here. It tells ChatGPT to go visit those leads' websites, and then it writes a personal opener for you that now you can import that. Like I just showed in the last part of this, import that into GHL and do your outreach. So now you can have personalized outreach messages and prospecting without having to manually go get the information from each website on your own. So pretty cool stuff. I'm very excited about it. Any questions on the specifics of how this works? You guys want me to go in depth on something else? Otherwise, like I said, we can just do open Q&A and I will call on you to see what's going on.
Can I go?
Please hit me.
So I just came up into the meeting like a few minutes ago. But I was very intrigued on the file that you just shared, and I was wondering if I missed the shareable link, if you have provided before, or where can we get it?
Sure. So what I mentioned is this is an SOP in our coaching program. And I just honestly, I don't really want to give this link away personally, but what I'm happy to do is I'm just going to scroll through it slowly. You guys want to come back to the recording in the extendedly group a little later, take this for yourself, right? Grab some screenshots, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to keep the link itself private for now. But with the replay, and once you get a cadence for how to do this, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to do it pretty simply.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, I was familiar with this extension to add ChatGPT to Google Sheets, but I wasn't, with this idea that you gave me, just landed perfectly for what I'm doing right now. So thanks.
Got it, man. No problem at all. Very happy to hear that. And there's a lot of fun you can have with this too, right? You can tell ChatGPT to go pull different things. As an example, this isn't probably the best example because a lot of lead lists will give you this information, but you can tell it, hey, go find the city that this business is located in, or hey, go scrape from the website a phone number for this company if you don't have it, right? So there's a lot of different things you can prompt ChatGPT to go do. I'm going to actually go back to the example I was playing with last night. One of the other things, it was the city. Okay, it was a location. Got it. So yeah, so you could do a product name as an example if you're working with law firms and you want to understand, like, are they family law, or is it corporate law? Is it personal injury? If it's med spas, do they sell cool sculpting? Like, what is the main product they sell? So you can do a lot of things with this. I'm an advocate of keep it stupid simple so we don't break anything. One personal opener is plenty to add a lot of extra juice to your outreach campaigns and can make a big difference.
All right, that's cool because I'm into the real estate niche. So obviously we have to find out if it's a commercial, if it's warehouses, and just go down. Perfect. That sounds fantastic. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you got it. Of course. And that's another great use for it, right? And then once you find maybe a certain vein of that industry you don't want to serve, for example, maybe for whatever reason, commercial real estate agents you don't work with, cool. Now we can remove them from our list, and we're at least not wasting time sending messages. People are going to be pissed messaging you back, I don't do residential real estate. So it's helpful in that way. And Teresa, to your question, you do need to get a paid ChatGPT account, but it's $5 a month. And I've done this hundreds of times at this point with just different leads as examples, and I've only paid 15 cents. So $5.15. And if you're talking about thousands of leads, it may be just a couple of dollars. So ridiculously reasonable for what we're asking ChatGPT to do. And again, like I would say, I would pay that all day if this is just a cost of doing business. So what I would love to do now, and again, if you have more questions about this specific strategy, more than happy to get into it. I'm just going to jump around. I don't really recall the exact order everyone came in. I know it was Jenna and then Steve, but I'm going to do my best. So Jenna, you're always here, very punctual. Thank you for hanging out. Anything top of mind for you today that I can answer for you while we're hanging out?
Yeah. So actually, somebody asked a question on the last call with
Nice.
Alex right after you hopped off that perfectly addressed a sales call I was on yesterday.
Okay.
So, and his answer was really helpful. But obviously I didn't do it on that initial call that I had with them. So what do you think is a good gateway? So it was a price objection to like, just like a high level offer. She's a real estate agent.
Okay.
And, actually a friend of mine, but she's like, oh, it's just too expensive, Jenna. It was like, $297 is what I told her. And I kept it simple with like missed call, text back, reviews, and a referral campaign and a database for activation. So like just simple, like I try to keep it as simple as possible. And I didn't even like go in and show her like a demo. I just tried to keep it like real simple.
Yeah,
and she said, well,
good.
It sounds great. She goes, but it's just too expensive for me. I was like, and I even like used Alex's like ATM method to be like, well, if this gets you just one more job, I said this, you know, like it'll pay for itself in just one more closing. Yep. And she said, well, I just don't think I can pay that extra fee right now. And so I like how Alex responded and if to the objection.
Was he dealing with it through the cost of not taking action?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I would handle it too. And to me, it's like you mentioned the things that you offered, right? You offered feature A, feature B, feature C. You didn't talk about like what the outcome is, right? And you kind of did when you handled the objection of, oh, well, if you just get one deal, blah, 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 right? But again, like it's too expensive. Relevant to what? Relevant to just some random features that I don't know if it could help my business. Sure, that's probably reasonable, but it's definitely not too expensive if the offer was, hey, this should be able to save you at least one or two closings every month from missed calls you might get and or reactivate current clients. And when you're operating through the frame of, hey, this can help you save at least one more deal a month. And what's an average deal for you, Mr. or Mrs. Client? That is where now, okay, cool. So $20,000, and you're telling me you're not willing to spend $3,000 over a year to make $20,000. There's a disconnect in what she perceives she will get from this, and also, sorry, baby brain, heard baby, and that was yours, not mine. And also, if that's truly then still an obstacle for her, she's probably more of a beginner anyways, and not actually in a place where if she can't afford to make a $300 a month investment in her business, it's either she didn't understand the value appropriately or she's just too much of a beginner to understand, like, and no amount of convincing is going to change that, right? If she just doesn't have the cash, that's the reality. And I think too, just really transparently, real estate is tough right now, right? Interest rates are up. Home prices are dropping. There's not as many homes moving. Real estate agents are tightening up their belt, and that industry already is full of a lot of beginners who don't really understand what they're doing. I often joke the only thing easier to do than real estate is marketing, because you don't have to even pass a test to do marketing. So it tends to be a bad mix of beginners helping beginners, and they all complain about it and point the finger. It's their fault. So I would look at like, is she a legitimate?
It was funny because I didn't even search her out. She actually stopped me. But no, anyway, sorry. To get to my question, it was like, what do you suggest now that it's been like 24 hours since I talked to her, and by tomorrow it'll be 48 hours.
Did you
like a good intro on?
Did you schedule another call?
I haven't yet.
That's okay.
She said she's like, I wanted to wait. She said she had a couple things going on. I was like, okay, well, and she told me 279 was just too expensive. So I was like, kind of like dismissed it in my head. But then I thought I might take one more shot at it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because I want to get to the bottom of the it's too expensive objection on the first call. But a rule in general is unless someone gives you a hard no, I got you, Nick. I'll hop over to you in just a second. Unless someone gives you like an actual hard no, you always schedule the next call, right? Always schedule the follow-up call or the onboarding call. If it's a no,
Right,
not
yeah.
interested, don't want to work with you. Okay, cool, lost deal, no big deal. We move on to find the next one. But you always schedule the next call. Even when it's like, I need to think about it. It's, hey, I've got stuff to do this weekend. Okay, cool. Can we then on Monday commit to 2 p.m. Eastern? We're going to get on a call and we're going to flesh out the final details and decide whether or not you want to move forward with this. And again, I think you have to really do some research. Is this person a legit agent? Like $300 for what you're offering sounds like a no-brainer if it's positioned appropriately and if she's a legit agent. Because if she's just a beginner and she's not even getting like one closing a month, tough, right?
Right. No, it makes sense. Thanks,
Cool.
Brian. Appreciate
So
it.
in terms of like what I would do next is I would get in front of her for a follow-up, right? It's Thursday right now. I'd see if she can meet tomorrow. Monday be the latest. And I would personally, I would call her as soon as you get off this call. It's the least fun, most uncomfortable thing to do, but it works the best. And if you can't get her on the phone, cool, send her a text. Hey, so-and-so, just want to make sure we have a chance to connect before the week's out. Do you have 20 minutes for me tomorrow at 2:00, right? That would be my approach. You just got to make the ask, but always schedule that call ahead of time would be my advice.
For sure.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
Got you. Nick, I see you got the hand raised, got a cool Tesla, got a teenage driver potentially. You're just chilling, got going on.
He's watching too.
He's in the metaverse, man. You're watching it in front of him too. What's going on, Nick? How can I help you today, man?
Okay, so real quick for us, if we just jumped in the call, could you just give us like a 30-second brief on what it is that you talked about? All I heard was Chat GPT, and I was going, "Oh man,
yeah, cool." So,
gosh.
I'm Brian. Hello, I run a program called Prospecting Demand with my business partner Alex Schlinsky. Right now, we're live in the Extendedly group Facebook community. So, Beyond, the leader and owner of Extendly, has graciously brought Alex and I on to be coaches in this community once a week. So, we hop on these coaching calls. We coach mostly on how to get more leads, how to close more deals, how to scale your SaaS business and/or agency. So these calls will either sometimes be a topic we talk about. So at the beginning of today, I broke down obviously some new strategies we're using with Chat GPT, but a lot of times we can just do open Q&A as well. So if you want to bring to me any questions you have around a challenge in your business, how to get to a certain point, how to do whatever XYZ, I'm happy to be a soundboard for you and bounce some ideas around.
Awesome. On that spreadsheet, what were you doing with the Chat GPT and spreadsheet? Because I love spreadsheets.
Yeah. Without making everyone roll their eyes who are here. In a nutshell, you're familiar with cold email outreach, right?
Cold email outreach.
Just doing email outreach, right? Like sending emails to get calls booked. Cool. So essentially, you doing what I just shared with you would be getting a lead list and then using Chat GPT and these prompts that I have here. Give me a second. I'm going to just mute you while I'm talking. There's a little bit of feedback. So essentially, once you have your lead list, you can prompt Chat GPT with a prompt like this that basically tells it inside of your lead list to go personalize an introductory message, right? So I actually have, I'm going to delete this. I have, these are lawyers, these are veterinary hospitals, these are solar businesses, these are resorts, just as different examples. And we have this prompt in the cell that is now writing custom messages to each lead. So, hey, I love how you guys do snowmobiling and snowshoeing. I love how you have horseback riding. I love how you have private beachfront cabanas. And now instead of going site to site to figure this out, you're letting AI do that for you. And now your lead list is infinitely more valuable when you plug it into HIGHLEVEL or whatever outreach tool you use. Now that personal opener can be plugged in. And it's a very effective way to be doing outreach because personalized messaging gets far better response rates.
Nice. That's perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice. I'm going to give you guys, everyone here, the link to the Extendly Facebook group. So if you want, you can come back and check out the replay. The replay should be live shortly after I end this call. Cool. Was there any questions, comments, Nick, you wanted to ask me while we're just hanging out in general about your business? Where are you guys at? Tell me what's going on. Sorry, I muted
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing really in particular. We just like to jump in every chance we get. We're doing Go High Level, and we're using it for our own business. We do real estate owner finance, and we're also wanting to. We're reselling it as a SaaS. We're just getting started, and so we sold our first account the other day, but it wasn't real estate. So oddly enough, but I'm not really saying no to anyone, right? So if it's you know, we're looking at what we want to niche down on, but I'm thinking we just niche down on realtors. Even though, yeah, maybe the market's not that great right now, but that's all the more reason why they would need a SaaS service, right? Something.
And I'd argue too that SaaS is a better offer for real estate agents now because it's a lower barrier to entry and lets them work more of the leads they have than go try and get new ones in a market where there aren't a lot as many new buyers, if you will, as there were, 2 years ago in the middle of COVID. So yeah, I'm not necessarily against real estate. My asterisk there would be make sure you have some sort of in to begin with. It sounds like you do. The key when you're selling SaaS, in my opinion, is to try and sell it in a format where it's one to many, meaning that when you have a new product, you're going to have to sell it one to one, no matter what, to validate it, to get it out there, to start getting people on board the platform. So if you can identify call it a pond of the fish you already want. So maybe that's a local real estate association, a local real estate group of agents, a mastermind of real estate agents like POD that we run, but it's for real estate agents. Maybe it's a complementary service provider like a loan officer or a staging company, but someone who already has a stable of real estate clients who they can refer you to. And that way you're selling now one to many instead of just one to one. There's also a lot of people, and Jenna can probably roll her eyes, I've ranted about this before. They have this pie in the sky idea of what SaaS is, that we can set up a website and a webinar and just push people to it and they're going to buy. And you can get there eventually, but that is hard work. And at the beginning, you have to earn those sales by typically selling one-to-one and being really involved with your customers' interaction of the platform. So not only can you get your first customer saying good things to overcome that hurdle, but you can suss out and figure out what is broken with the platform. So advice, Nick, that I gave to Jenna a little bit earlier is, and this is where when you start to sell to everyone who says yes, it's a little challenging. You don't really want to worry about the features. You want to have simple features. Don't sell everything because then you have to fulfill on everything, answer all the questions. Keep it really stupid simple with a couple of key features that will get real estate agents the outcome that they are looking for, right? I love what Jenna said about a reactivation campaign of some kind to go to past database they have, reactivate leads. I love the idea of a referral system of some kind they could set up and collecting reviews, missed call text back. Those are all great features real estate agents could benefit from. But when you're selling it to them, it needs to be from the standpoint of what will those features create as an outcome and a benefit, because now you can quantify it, right? So, hey, how many missed phone calls from new leads do you get a month? 10? Okay, if you saved one of those deals, what's that worth to you? For real estate agents, the answer is like 10, 20, 30, $40,000. Okay, now they have a price anchored in what this could potentially do for them. Oh, it's only $300 a month? No brainer. But when you're just selling features to anyone and everyone, it's hard to quantify to a roofer, a dentist, real estate, HVAC, like what the value is to them if we're just communicating features. So you seem like you're pretty sharp guy. So I think a lot of this you probably already know, but I'm just kind of sharing openly here.
No, I love it. This is great.
Cool, man. Yeah, and I would highly recommend any of the past trainings live here in the group we've done. We've got a lot of really solid sales and prospecting trainings in the extendedly group. So highly recommend you go check those out when you get a minute.
Awesome. Thank you.
I got you, Brian. No problem.
Also, super brand new. High Level just came out with this 5-day challenge for brand new users.
Yeah, and they really speak to that segment of the market, right? And I think because the price point is so reasonable, they can do that. And the reality is 90% plus of the marketing community are beginners. So I think it makes sense for them to do that. Whereas us in POD, we have found that clients are most successful when they already have something to work with. Also, the investment to work with us in POD is very expensive. It's like $18,000 minimum for a 6-month program. So it's not cheap, right? But we get good results for people who are already doing well. And I also, Jenna, I really strongly recommend to not compare like what GHL is doing to what you're doing, because they have the overwhelming stacks of social proof that they can send a beginner to a web page or a video who's going to go, I'll pay for that. But when you have a SaaS that's just in this wave of other programs, you don't have the overwhelming stacks of social proof that GHL does. That becomes very difficult. And ultimately, you probably don't want to sell to beginners if you're the person running the business right now, agency/SaaS business owner, because the brunt of that falls onto you, right? Go High Level is about to roll out.
Oh, sorry. The 5-day challenge is only on the feature missed call text back.
Got it. And that's smart, right? I genuinely think if I were to start a SaaS from scratch, that's the only service I would sell. And I'd sell it for $200 to $300 a month. I'd probably sell it to home service businesses, like guys that are out on projects in their truck driving around all day that miss phone calls. Those guys would spend $200 to $300 a month to save $5,000 to $10,000 a month in business. Like, it's a no-brainer when you can frame it in that sense. But when it's like, hey, we do all these things, like, because GHL sells based on all the stuff it can do, they can get away with that because of the positioning they have. Most people in everyone's position here, and if I started a SaaS business from scratch, we don't have that position. We don't have that luxury. So we got to go sell one-to-one typically. And I would focus on less, because then you have to fulfill less. If you're only doing one thing because everyone wants to sell the farm for $100 a month, $200 a month. You could sell one feature for $300, $500 a month to the right person. Your fulfillment burden becomes substantially less, right? Too often we're trying to hear what the person wants and then customize the offer in the moment or in a proposal. We need to know what we're selling first. And if we don't have that, we need to go get that by getting feedback from the audience we want to serve. But I also, Jenna, knowing you and the position you're in and anyone here, it's like, when you're at the beginning, when you're at the stage where you're trying to figure it out, it's okay to taste and try different things. Just don't stay in that spot for too long, and try not to say yes to everything. The biggest thing would be other beginners, like really truly a startup beginner in a space. Those are dangerous clients to have because they don't know their product or service or market yet. I like to coach. You want to help people who are already win more. It's very difficult. No amount of effort you can put in will likely help someone in a losing position or with an unvalidated product succeed and win. And it puts you in a very bad spot and have that burden, and it's not fair. But anyways, I digress. Getting off my high horse and ranting a little bit. Steve, I don't know if you were on the call earlier with myself and Alex. I saw Steve. I think it might not have been you, but that's okay. If you weren't, fine. Welcome. Any questions I can answer for you today?
Yeah, I was on the call. And I guess one of the things, I tried to type a question in the chat.
Sorry, I didn't see that one.
But I wasn't clear. No, Alex addressed it. But I'm thinking in terms of in the original process of reaching out to a potential client in order to schedule, like a Zoom meeting, that type of thing, to go through a full pitch. What are your thoughts on a questionnaire, a pre-sales meeting questionnaire survey that would kind of set the tone for what the meeting might be like? In other words, the way you phrase your questions, that the intention here is that, we're going to do business at some level. And what I need to know is what are your objective, or what's your objective as far as new business, and something like that, and kind of open-ended, but allows them to then write a sentence or two about what they're trying to accomplish, so that then you go into the meeting having a real idea of, some of the things that we're going to have to address. And so you can be quick and efficient and well thought out in that process.
I love this question. So, the answer is it depends, and I'll tell you what it depends on. It depends on your volume of sales calls now. If you are consistently booking, 2-3 sales calls per day, call it, 7, 10-ish per week, and you're like, I'm talking to a lot of unqualified people, I want to create more friction in my process, cool. We can talk about then in wherever they're opting in, whether that is through a Facebook ad or you're doing outreach, cool. We can talk about adding a little bit of friction. Let's add 1 or 2 questions around, hey, what are your growth goals in your business? Are you in a place where you're able to make an investment in your business if it makes sense financially? So like those are 2 questions you could add a little bit of friction on. But again, the asterisk here is if you already have a large volume of sales calls that you are trying to get to a place where you can qualify and disqualify more effectively. If you're in a place where you don't really have any sales calls or that many sales calls right now, I wouldn't be doing much qualification. I would just be getting on the phone with as many people in my audience as possible for 2 reasons. First reason being, you're going to learn a lot about your market and what they are looking for and what they need that will inform you on what the offer should be. And 2, people who can't necessarily become a client because they're disqualified for whatever reason, it doesn't mean that someone they're connected to isn't valuable. It doesn't mean they can't refer you to someone, either a possible client, another possible referral source, a strategic or referral partner, because they happen to know a guy who, hey, you're reaching out to real estate agents. Oh, I'm not a good fit, but I know a mortgage broker who knows a lot of real estate agents. Can I connect you guys? I would say at the earlier stages, it's worth getting on the calls with those people. Now, you need to be careful to, just because someone books a call with you, don't give them a full-blown hour and go through the whole thing and then at the end be surprised, like, oh, they weren't a good fit to begin with. Right. You got to qualify at the front end of that call and then decide in that first 5, 10, 15 minutes, which way is this conversation going to head? Am I going to actually get to a point where it makes sense to make this person an offer? Or is it going to be like, hey, this person's not going to be a good fit. I'm just going to learn about the market a little more, get some feedback, and then see if there's a potential for that person to refer me. And they will do this because of the rule of reciprocity. If you can give them some helpful advice on that call, so, hey, Bob, doesn't sound like we're in a place where we're going to be, it's going to be a good fit for us. But if I was in your position, could I share with you what I would be doing? Cool. Blah, 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 blah. Was that helpful, Bob? Awesome. What I would love in return, Bob, is if you know anyone who you think I could help or serve, I'd love for you to give me that name or make an introduction. Could you do that? That is now how you can leverage this rule of reciprocity. So the answer is it depends, Steve, right? Like I do think that once you're starting to run ads, you're booking consistent calls, creating friction to disqualify leads is so important. And eventually you may be even hiring an appointment setter to do some of this qualification for you. But if you're at the other end of the spectrum, not as many, take those calls. You will learn so much about the people you want to serve that will inform your offer. It's invaluable.
Gotcha. Appreciate the feedback. Again, you boiled it down to the concept of qualification. It's real simple. You start to think about things and really it falls right under that category. So again, trying to be a lean organization and handle, wear a lot of hats. That's where, my idea of, doing as much qualification up front as possible, sure, even in a situation where, really I'm just getting started. So, yeah. But I see exactly what you're saying, and cool. The learning process of going through those things makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I love the comment you brought up about wearing a lot of hats, because I resonate with that strongly. Right. And I was in the same place when I initially started first, before SaaS was even a cool thing to do. I was making iPhone apps for businesses, which initially started my marketing agency. But I wanted to get caught up in the fulfillment of how do I build the apps? How do I update them? How do I do the work? Instead of a founder's real job is to be a rainmaker. They need to go get deals, bring money into the company. And I think a lot of technical, smart, gifted media buyers, copywriters, people who are really good at doing the thing, SaaS, like how to build out software, like they get stuck in the minutia of doing the fulfillment work. So cool, I sold a deal. I'm going to just dive all into this client work and not do anything else, versus having some sort of fulfillment partner who does it for you. Now, if you are the type of person who's really good at what you do, you're the best Facebook media buyer, you're not going to go hire a white label company. That's fine. Or you're the best SaaS person, that's fine. Hire a junior then to model what you do and take some of that weight off your plate. But if you're in a spot where like, I don't know shit about Facebook ads, or I don't know shit about SaaS, don't try and force yourself to learn that. I would hire the fulfillment of your product out. And again, like I was showing earlier, a lot of people kind of will just make up the offer on the fly on the call, and then they have to fulfill it because they didn't have the fulfillment mechanism to begin with, versus go, hey, I'm going to work with people in the home services space, ideally roofers, and I'm going to sell them Google ads. And I have a white label partner. I would work with Invisible PPC if you're looking for a Google AdWords partner. I have them. These are the average results. Cool. Now, if I go sell a client, this fulfillment partner does all the work, and Steve can stay focused on selling and getting more clients through the door. I think a lot of founders stay stuck wearing that fulfillment hat for far too long, and it's a very dangerous place to be.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did in kind of the web development realm and
yes,
app
I've been there, man. One of the biggest reliefs of my life was offloading my last website project, because you just get crazy stuff, man. Like clients demanding changes on Friday night, calling and texting you. And again, like, because I didn't set the expectations of what communication looks like, I just kind of let it unfold. This is where like getting really clear about who do I want to serve, what is the desired outcome that that person, industry, et cetera, wants. How can I go find a fulfillment partner to do that if I don't know how to myself? And if I do know how to do that myself, how can I hire a junior to support me? And then I can go focus on acquisition. But yeah, it's one of the biggest things where people get caught up and they want to play in the sandbox a little bit instead of going and inviting other people into the sandbox. Weird metaphor, but I'm just going to run with it.
Great. Thank you. And quick question. You and Alex at some point could possibly review kind of the pay per lead method, like the booked call concept and that kind of thing. That'd be great to hear your perspectives.
Yeah, great feedback. We actually have a really good training. I'll just give it to you right now so you don't have to wait. I was a little bit stingy with the SOP link, but I'm going to be generous and give you guys this one. If you want to check this out, Steve, you're more than welcome to. Let me give you some coaching on this, though, after I get you the link.
What was the SOP link?
Yeah, the SOP was the you're just giving me shit. Okay, I got you. take some screenshots. So here's a quick hack. If you take a screenshot and you have a Mac computer or an iPhone, you can now actually copy and paste text inside of an image, which is pretty cool. So if you really want to like reverse engineer this, you're more than welcome to do that. Let me get you the link, Steve, to this training we have. And just here's the honest answer. This is a very tough offer to fulfill unless you already have a lot of data and insight to the economics of what an average cost per lead in different areas of the country that you serve, what that's going to look like. Because what happens is you have a lot of clients who will claim this is a bad lead and you have to replace it, and you go into your margin to do so. Mm-hmm. It's very dangerous if you don't have, even if you have good fulfillment providers for this, it's a very tough offer to manage on. So what I always recommend is sell a retainer first, figure that out. And then, hey, if the metrics and the economics make sense, you have the insight and data, maybe test a pay per lead model. Not going to be the way I like to scale personally. I would rather be charging a percentage of ad spend, right? So as a quick example, let's say you charge $2,000 a month. Your minimum ad spend is $3,000, so $5,000 all in. And then you will manage for your client up to $10,000 in ad spend. But now after $10,000 in ad spend, you're charging 20% of that, right? So 20% of $10,000 is that $2,000 you were already charging. Now, let's say a client spending 10 or 20 grand on ads. Cool. You're charging $4,000 a month for your service, and your fulfillment doesn't really, you don't do more fulfillment for. You don't have to provide more. You just get to charge a percentage of what they're doing, what their growth is. So I think personally, that's the healthier way to do that. But I want to give you guys one more thing, Steve, something we actually covered on these before, not today, but in the past. It's called the Love It or Leave It offer framework. This is really, really good for anyone in a beginning space of their business. So the idea is either on a sales call or over a DM as to generate an opportunity. And I have to hop in 4 minutes for a client kickoff call, so I'm going to do this really quickly. Basically, you can say like, hey, Bob, love what I'm seeing about Bob's roofing business. We're currently looking for some experienced partners in the home services space, so we can provide customers on a commission pay per result basis. So we only profit when you do. Would you be open to discussing this? And I'll explain in just a moment. The idea is you get onto a sales call, you do your normal pitch, but instead of charging them a retainer, you're going to charge them a setup fee, right? So this $3,000 is just an example. And the setup fee ideally should cover your overhead to fulfill this for the first 2 months. So, hey, the first 2 months, this introductory offer, we're only going to charge you a setup fee, and then we will take a percentage of sales or either get paid per lead or appointment in these first 2 months. Then after the trial period, we're going to move you to our retainer model of X dollars per month once we show you that this works. So this is a really powerful way to get someone's, first of all, interest and get them hooked onto a call, make an offer for a new offer that's maybe a little bit scary or untested, or people are on the fence or skeptical about, like, hey, look, I'm not going to charge you this amount per month. Why don't I just charge you a setup fee to cover some of my team's expenses? I only then, as the owner, will get paid when you do. And I'll explain this in a moment. And then we can move to this X price model a little later. I love this for SaaS, right? Because you can charge like next to nothing for a setup fee. You get them hooked because it's working, and now you've got a paid customer by month 3. Sometimes you're going to have a little bit of patience to get to this point. So if you don't have a long runway of cash, there's 2 versions of this. I'm going to use an agency example just because it's easy for me. Let's say you partnered with Invisible PPC to do white label ads. They charge $500 per month, right? And let's say you, because you have a job or you have a runway of cash, I can be a little bit patient. I might only charge then my clients a $1,000 setup fee, because that charges $500 to Invisible PPC. That covers my cost of fulfillment. And now the IPPC gets the result. Cool. We keep the client. Let's say you're in a place where you actually need the cash, like you need to make some money from this. Okay. Setup fee can be $2,000. You pay IPPC whatever the price is, $500. You take the other $1,000 and pocket that. Is it a huge amount of money? No, but it at least got you paid and earned you the at bat to get a client for a new offer. I don't typically recommend this for anyone who's already got a proven offer with, paying clients and results. And again, people use this. So let's say like I have a client who's got a great agency, but they just started a new SaaS, and they're using this because their agency gives them that runway of cash to be patient to now use this approach. And they're getting like a few dozen people on their platform already for, this commission only thing, who are going to move to retainer clients on their SaaS by month 3. So really powerful kind of hybrid version of what you were saying, Steve, for the PPL model, to not do it in perpetuity, but to leverage it to get some initial clients over the line for a new offer.
Gotcha. Appreciate that. Thank you.
You got it. Myself and or Alex will be here next week, 4 p.m., same link, same community, hanging out with you guys. If you want to hang out on the Anti-Hustler show, we renamed it recently. I don't know why. Who cares? We'll be there 3 p.m. in our group next week. And I appreciate very much all of your time. I'm going to go hop to my new client's kickoff call, and I will see you guys all soon.
Thank you so much.
You got it, Nick. See you guys. Bye, Jenna. Bye, Steve. See you, everyone.
Thanks, Brian.
Want to learn Go High Level in a structured format? Check out the GHLacademy.com by Extendly. We guarantee to save you 6 months of wasted subscription costs for High Level. Just visit the GHLacademy.com.